right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Awaken to Happiness Now global series. Thank you so much for being here with us, whether you're live or you're watching on the replay. If you are watching on the replay, welcome, welcome. If you're new to me, shefaliburns, new to my show, please do subscribe so you can take advantage of all the current shows, all the previous shows, all the shows coming up. It is my deepest wish, desire, and intention to bring to you these amazing, wonderful speakers who are sharing their wisdom, their teachings, their processes, their readings, their knowledge, so much so that we can all thrive and so that we can all awaken to happiness now. And so today we have a brand new speaker on the show with us. We have Denise Ricard here, and she's going to be talking about attracting your romantic partner with galactic numerology. And so some of what we're going to talk about is we're going to learn how our personal numbers, which are derived from our name and birth date, reveal key insights about your love language, relationship patterns, and the vibrational frequency you're emitting in matters of the heart. And some of what we're going to learn and discuss is about having clarity about life direction, understanding life's timing, making empowered decisions, discovering soul purpose and gifts, all that and more. And of course, for those of you who may not know Denise, because it is the first time she's here with us, she is an ambassador for the evolution of consciousness, the galactic numerologist and intuitive soul path coach, guides visionaries, leaders, starseeds, and light workers in awakening their higher self connection and aligning with their true path and purpose for this lifetime. Through her work, she empowers individuals to reclaim their birthright to divine wholeness and unity, igniting a joyous and fulfilling life that reflects their divine truth and the destiny that they are here to embody. So, everyone, please join me in welcoming Denise to the show. Denise, welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you, Shefali. And I'm so happy that you're all here today as well. And I love the energy. I could feel the energy of everyone coming in and just taking those deep breaths in and out and just bringing yourself fully here so that you can fully receive. And we're always in, we create an energy vortex or a container for everything that comes through that you call in just what is specifically for you in all the infinite streams of energies that are coming through. So thank you.
Awesome. Welcome, Denise. And Denise, I know we're going to talk, quite a bit about attracting your romantic partner with galactic numerology. And of course, there's going to be lots of questions about that. But before we get started, if you could just share just really quickly a little bit about yourself, your journey, how you started your work with the galactic numerology and how that has affected and changed your life.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes. And had my awakening, like my spiritual awakening, my awakening to knowing that I was a multidimensional being, a divine being. I guess what I would call later in life. and and then as soon as I woke up, it was like everything was coming into my field and I was like, yes. Yeah, crystals. I communicate with crystals, and dragons are real, and elemental beings. Like I knew the trees. I can communicate, and all of this was waking up for me, and it was so delightful because I'm a wizard at heart. I work with Merlin, and I've worked for years with my beautiful friend and mentor Danielle Rama Hoffman, and that's how this came through because I was really feeling called to step into my path, my purpose, why I was here. And there were so many things that came. There were obstacles that came in the way, and there were challenges, I'll just say, that were coming as I was opening up to that and stepping more into it. And the galactic numerology came in as part of what I was opening up to, and it's a new paradigm of numbers. It's new energies, and it was helping to raise my frequency. And I'm going to be talking a lot about that frequency today as well. So I'm just I just love what I do. My clients are just the galactic numerology there's a program. You activate the numbers, and then they help you to really raise your frequency and come back into your divine self so that you can be doing what you came here to do as well. So yeah, that's a short version.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. And we have had people come on the show many times talking about numerology, etc. Right? But I know that the work that you do is slightly different, and so you also talk. So this is me with just going with the flow, right? You also talk about the numbers in your birth date and your name, etc. But you also talk about the missing numbers, the numbers that are not there, and how that can also affect our life, or how they can also help us as well.
Yes, yes. So can I weave into that? Because that's part of like all the calculations and the number energy. So because really today we're diving into the new paradigm of relationships. And what you just asked, like that numerology or personal numerology fits into all that. And when I say new paradigm relationships, they are soul-led, they're divinely guided by divine love, and they are aligned with who we are truly becoming. Because the earth frequencies are rising and everything is shifting, including how we relate to one another. Because we're no longer satisfied with relationships about control, based on obligation, any kind of old roles. We're really like waking up to a deeper truth that real love, which is divine love, is a reflection of the divine within us. And that all starts with inner alignment and understanding our soul guidance. As I'm weaving into this, what I'm hearing is, let's start at the beginning, a very fine place to start. I can hear Julie Andrews. So first of all, there's universal laws that are revealed to us as we're on this ascension journey, as we wake up. And one very important law is that everything is a vibrational frequency. And we come to this earth to learn, to grow, to become. And in order to do this, we have to lower our frequency to be in the third dimension and then experience being separated from our God selves. And we probably all know this, but again, I'm weaving this in. So just allow yourself to receive it. And so then our goal is to rise up out of that and into higher states of consciousness that get us connected back to our divine selves. And this is a process of becoming, and it requires our awareness of it and our dedication to it. These are keys as I'm weaving into this. So as we seek how to do this, our divine self and our guides bring forth support in different ways. And numerology is one of those ways. And another important thing for us to really acknowledge and accept is that everything we need is already inside of us. And really, this is what our awakening is all about. It's how we really reclaim our divine connection. That divine connection resides really in these higher frequencies. And we can live in this third dimension as we all are, and yet not be a part of it. So we're residing within our own energy frequency. So it's like living in our own dimensional reality. And then everything that's in our dimensional frequency is what shows up in our life. And everything that is not is still out there in the world, yet it does not enter into our reality. So let's just look at new paradigm relationships and old paradigm. So as we are evolving, our relationships are also evolving. And old paradigm relationships, as I mentioned, like that's from our duality history. So there might be a neediness or a fixing or a codependence, anything that's connected to societal roles. So it's almost like love was transactional, and it was something that was really like we were seeking for it to complete us. And so as we're rising into new paradigm relationships, they're rooted in divine love, which is wholeness. So it's not about it's not about fixing ourselves so that we can fix someone else. It's about aligning with the truth of who we are. And we are complete. We're radiant. We're empowered. And then allowing our relationships to mirror that wholeness. And that's why so many people now are feeling the nudge to leave what no longer fits them. And this is what I work with my clients with, and have conversations with other spiritual leaders. And we really want to evolve into what really does bring us into a deeper and more fulfilling union. And then those old paradigm beliefs come up to be released. And then, for example, the old paradigm belief that if there's a change in relationship, that there was a failure, like your marriage didn't last because blah, 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 or whatever it is, whatever the duality belief systems would dictate. So really, new paradigm relationships, it's about evolution. It's deepening into the sacred of who we are. And your soul is the guiding way. Your soul knows the way, and it always has. And we might not hear it because of the noise of the outer world. So in relationships, you may hear an inner whisper, that's your soul, and have a feeling like this isn't quite right. Or maybe you have a deeper longing for more, like your soul's inviting you into like really a more fulfilling love. And it may not always make sense to our logical mind. And it may ask you to stay and deepen a connection or to release one that you've outgrown. But either way, when you listen to this, when you follow it, you move into those higher frequencies of freedom and truth and deeper love. So we have to listen more than ever now, because our relationships are our mirror for soul growth, and they can reflect our deepest fears, our deepest desires. And it's really about our greatest capacity for love. So how does numerology fit into all this? Okay, so it's one of those guidance tools of ascension that's available for us. And and numerology it's not about predicting the future. It's a guide that it really reveals things about us, why we came here, because we choose our birth date. So where we're born on the earth, our name, all these things have numerical values. So that was like that question that you were asking, Shefali, about these different calculations. So they all have different values, qualities, energies, and they're here to give us insight and direction, because your own personal numerology, these numbers that you choose in your birth date, as well as really from a more multidimensional perspective, numbers are everywhere in our sacred geometry, but they tell you about your core emotional needs, about your natural way of expressing, and about the path that you chose to walk in this life. So when you understand these, you stop second guessing yourself or trying to fix something that was never broken, and you become far more conscious about who you let into your life. So I know that's a long answer, but I just was like kind of weaving in all of that. So how does that sound?
It sounds great. And it's like, I'm glad you mentioned the part about, how the old paradigm and the new paradigm in relationships, right? And then in the new paradigm, it really is about the evolution of our soul and the expansion of our soul as we are going through our ascension journey, right? So sometimes we change as we grow, right? Our consciousness changes, and sometimes those relationships don't fit anymore, and that's okay. So it's a tough one for me. My relationship ended last year, so I'm still not at the 1 year mark yet, so I'm still like struggling with that piece, but I get it, right? And so I'm not the same person I was when I first entered into that relationship back in 2011, right? So things change, and that's okay. And
Yes.
it's still about following my own inner guidance and my own heart, um and my soul's whispers as to what to do next kind of thing, even though sometimes the logical mind and the cultural programming and the collective even, they still try and keep you in the old paradigm. So you have to trust yourself as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to trust yourself. Yes. Thank you for bringing that in as well. And we could take a little peek when we're done here if you want to take a look at your number too. So,
Sure. Sounds good. And I really, one key point that you mentioned is that we choose our birth date, right? So, for
yeah.
example, so I was born 2 months premature, so I did not want to wait until May the 8th. I'm like, I'm ready now. Let's go. So I was born 2 months premature, right? Because I was ready to go.
Yeah, interesting, right? Because you chose your birth date. So just because the little calculator, remember they used to have a wheel, because the little calculator they came up with that said you're coming on this day, you're like, no. Your soul's like, nope. And because of that, Shefali, you are bringing in your own personal numerology. And there's so much because it also has to do and it's like astrology as well, right? You've got the houses and there's even the numerology of astrology, which is interesting, like where the degrees and all that. That's another whole topic. But anyways, bringing that in that creates like that sacred blueprint through your birth date that really informs your soul. It's a real guiding compass for you for your life. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's so interesting when you say that because then it also it's because I'm a very impatient person. It's like, I'm right now. It's like, why should I wait? What am I waiting for? Let's go. So,
Yes.
you know,
Beautiful.
yeah, it's interesting when you look at that and realize that nothing happens by chance. It's all divinely orchestrated, divine timing chosen by us, our
Yes.
soul. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yes. And then it kind of like weaves in um so that we're really becoming more aware. I mean, the bottom line is becoming more aware of our inner truth, like why we're here as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Why are we here? 'Cause so many people ask that question. Why am I here? What am I doing here? For sure, right?
Yeah.
And even like we've you can Google it and find out all sorts of numerology sites and it tells you stuff, but it still that still feels kind of like incomplete. It's just like general overall, right? But
Yeah.
for a full type of reading, it requires, I think, more analysis than just generally for everybody.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah. But it's also like one of those kind of signals that if you're attracted to that, and that's probably, why everyone's here today, because there's something in being with numbers or numerology or something that you bring into this lifetime that wants to help you on your path.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So let's talk about that as well as we move forward. And especially that piece about the missing numbers, because we talked about that, you and I, before, right? About the missing numbers. So if you can weave that in a little bit about how that can be helpful to know what those missing numbers are and how we can actually, how that works. I'm not even sure.
Yes, yes. And so, yes, I will get to that. I will get to
Yeah.
that because that's when we get to like calculations. But also, we were like understanding numerology, like I was mentioning, our inner truth, it helps us align with our inner truth. So knowing something like that, like why you have certain numbers or why certain numbers are not present, it helps kind of guide that process. So there's that
And
inner align. Yes, go ahead.
how does that inner alignment is that inner truth, right? And so if you're willing to listen to that inner truth of your own wisdom, you will know um some things. But when it comes to love and relationships, I'm a little challenged at this point. So I've been married 3 times. Third divorce is on the way. The first one didn't count. Second one was quite long, and even and then the third one was like 10, 11 years, whatever. But it's like, oh, and each one was different. So I thought I was listening to my inner truth when I had the third relationship for sure. And when it ended, I struggled with that piece, obviously, listening to my inner truth, and then just all that stuff, and so that was a big struggle. But how can that help us? Like, how can that guide us to a new relationship, or enhance our current relationship even?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. And also, I want to say bravo. Whether we choose one relationship, whether it's a marriage or 10 or whatever it is, it's all about our path. It's about our path and purpose. So like each and every one of those relationships has taught you more about yourself. And there's been this growth. I mean, that's why we're here. And whether you call it a marriage, or whether you call it a relationship, how many boyfriends, like, any of that, it's just that's the third dimensional construct of what it is, right? And so really, when we understand our numerology, we're not just learning about numbers, we're remembering the essence of who we are, because again, that's part of that a part it's again, we're focusing on the birth date here, but it's much, much more. Your name, and we're focusing on name and birth date, but there's also just the sacred geometry of the numerology of music, of sounds, of colors, like all of that. So when we're learning about numbers and remembering who we are, it is that mirror that reflects our soul back to us. And it's reminding us of who we already are and what we've always been. So when you know your numerology, it's like, oh yeah, it's just so resonant. And this is a foundation of inner alignment, because when you're aligned with your inner truth, then you won't go into a relationship hoping that someone else will complete you or fix you or validate you. And then you don't lead with wounds, you lead with self-awareness, you're grounded, you're clear, you're authentic. And that changes everything about how you approach relationships, how you approach love. And so why do we attract what we do? So we don't attract what we want, we attract what we're aligned with. Because that's interesting, right? Because that's one of those vibrational frequencies, right? Because we may want something, but why are we not getting it? Because there's something off in that frequency. So if you keep attracting the same type of partner that's misaligned with you, or you're in a relationship that should work, but it feels off, then when you look at your numbers, it can help reveal why. And then if you're unconsciously repeating patterns, you may be honoring someone else's truth over your own. So numerology really brings a lot of clarity, and not to label you, it actually liberates you, because it helps you if you're like in relationships, you're at crossroads in love, you want soul-aligned relationships, you're done with repeating patterns, and you really want love to reflect your own divine essence. So yeah, so you did ask, like, what's the difference between traditional and galactic numerology? So traditional numerology helps us move from the unconscious to the conscious by identifying patterns, purpose, personality codes, and it really is a great construct for duality, because it works with, you have the one side of the coin of your number that means a positive thing, let's just say, and positive and negative is all part of duality. And then there's like a challenge. So your number has like your gifts and your challenges. And what galactic numerology does is it goes beyond that. It's a higher frequency of numbers. So you're not just a person with a birth date, you're a multidimensional being. Your numbers are living codes. It's part of your soul's architecture, and it evolves as you evolve. And then you carry the frequencies that reflect your cosmic journey that are awaiting to awaken within. So then as we were talking about the new paradigm and this evolutionary path, we're really here to reclaim our divine heritage. And that means being in alignment with our soul. Our soul wants what is best for us. We're not here. We're not really meant to have these experiences in life where it's through the lens of duality. That's just how we came in, and we're rising up above that. So galactic numerology downloaded, it's like a body of work that came in through my presence. And it's really a spiritual technology. So it utilizes high vibrational source energies to assist you in aligning with the truth of who you are, which is that we are unique aspects of source, God, Goddess, all there is, however you want to say it. So how do we align? We have to raise our frequency. That's what the numbers do. These galactic numbers contain keys and codes. So they're activations. So again, traditional numerology it gives you a map. It represents something from what a gift and a challenge is. And galactic numerology is about the wholeness. It's like both sides of the coin and just spinning that coin. And so these activations, they unlock like codes that have been dormant in your system that want to come back into wholeness. And there's 44 galactic numbers. So when they first start coming in, 0 through 9 came in. Those are the basic numbers that we use for calculations, right? And because with galactic numerology, we'll use those same type of calculations so that we can come up with, okay, how does this work from a higher level, from a higher frequency level? And yet their energies are different from traditional numerology. So each number holds the keys and codes of a particular quality that is part of your own vibrational blueprint, so you can raise that frequency from duality back into wholeness. It's already within you, and yet the activation of that galactic number, it brings it back to you. It bridges it back into wholeness. So for example, galactic number 1 is infinite. So when you activate infinite in your system, you're aligning to that cosmic truth that you and everything around you, every part of you, is endless and eternal. And those patterns and conditioning of duality where things are finite, they get brought back into wholeness. And then as you choose your birth date, we use these numbers as a sacred map, because it's a vibrational blueprint that encodes your energy to your soul's essence. So these personal numbers that we're talking about, they carry energetic frequencies that really help reveal your gifts. And then it confirms what your soul already knows. And so again, galactic numerology, it brings in a bigger picture, your divine blueprint. And then from a relationship standpoint, we look at your number and there's different numbers, but they attune to soul matching frequencies, so you can attract those relationships that support your highest path, because that's what we're about. We want to have relationships. We don't want to have to constantly be like fighting through it and then getting to the next step and then, oh my gosh, I got to fight through this again, right? That's not what it's all about. But it's been what it's been all about, right? So now we're here on the earth, and it's all different. So when you activate and awaken these codes within you, you shift your frequency and you start attracting relationships that match your soul truth, and they become energy guides. So they continue to show you the way. So you might see the numbers in your daily life or however you choose to spark them, and then you know. So it's not just about attracting any partner, it's about really magnetizing your divinely aligned partner. So we can go into the next part of it if you want, which is those aspects. Would you like to do that? Some of those calculations?
Sure, yeah. And I think this last piece about the calling in the soul aligned partner, that's really what we want, not what we think we want from the mental level, right? What is logical or anything, but what is aligned or who is aligned with our soul and our soul path and etc. So um that's huge. So but getting clarity on that, that's where the numerology can help us, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And to know that like when you like are committed and you say, I am calling in, a higher frequency, like a more attracting somebody who's going to meet me at that higher level, at that soul level. Sometimes there is a pause in relationships because we're working on raising our frequency so that we can call in that frequency. So don't beat yourself up if there is a pause. There's purpose, there's divine timing as well in that.
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So there's a couple calculations that there's so many different calculations that we can use, and the one that's I'm going to talk about first, it has to do with um also my special offer because we're talking about relationships, romantic relationships, and we're going to talk about what's called the soul urge number or the heart's desire.
Hmm.
And this is interesting because this comes from the vowels in our name. So the vowels in our name are actually feminine energy. It's our feeling side of life, it's our flow, it's our heart, it's our soul. And so you look at how many vowels you have in a name as well as how what they add up to. And they go up to 11, and then you reduce them down. And this calculation reveals your deepest emotional and spiritual needs in a relationship. So when you understand this, you know that you're not needing to chase love that doesn't fulfill you. Instead, you start magnetizing love that reflects your truth. So it's a real good number to know. And and these numbers have different energies. So, for example, the next thing I'm going to talk about is life path because everybody knows about life path. This is the adding up of all the digits of your name, reducing it down to a single digit. And the life path number is about your soul mission in this lifetime. And in galactic numerology, we call this the cosmic soul path mastery number because it's what the number adds up to is what your soul path, what you've come to master in this lifetime. It's your mission. And then so looking at your life path number, you look at soul aligned partners that complement or support your journey. So when you understand this, you can see if you're in a relationship, whether it's supportive, whether it's growth oriented, or like what's it starting to look like, and then you can make choice. Do I want to stay in this and learn from this? Have I already learned from this? So that's a good one to look at. And then the other thing is, and this has to do with it kind of goes within the it's a little bit about the time construct. It's called the personal year number. And yet we utilize when we're talking higher consciousness, we're not within time. But the personal year number is your birth month and your day added up to what's called a universal year calculation. So in 2025, we're in a 9 year. And 9 is, in traditional numerology, is about completions. And in galactic numerology, it's called evolution. So it's the energy of evolution. And so this is also about your energetic season that you're in. So instead of looking at like the time, we can say season. And so there are some years where it's about releasing more, letting go, going in more. And others are about like in the forefront, love, partnerships, commitment. So this number can really show you that. It can show you what's showing up for you and why. And so really tuning into your numerology, you can navigate love with much more clarity and also spiritual confidence, because then you're aligning with the frequency of partnership that reflects who you really are. So then this opens the door for someone who's truly meant to walk beside you on your soul path. So there's been all this weaving in. And now I'd like to know if you'd like to open for questions, but I'd also like to answer your question, Shefali, because you asked it a couple times, like when there are numbers that are missing. And what you mean by that, and what she means by that is like if your birth date doesn't have a 5 in it, or it doesn't have a 2 in it, or whatever it is, then you can look at those to say that that might be something that you can focus on strengthening, because you didn't bring that number in as part of really that sacred geometry. So you've got the strength of the sacred geometry of the numbers of your birthday, but those are other numbers that you can bring in and take a look at and say, I don't have that particular number. What does that number mean? And can I add that to my momentum? Can I add that in? Is there anything that I can learn from that? So, and that's what's coming through now. And as I'm a channel, and I do this when I'm in session with my clients, it's like really bespoke for what's coming up for them at the time. Um, so did you want to ask about a particular number that's not in your birthday, and I can just kind of bring through some information for you?
Well, no, it was just more of an example. So, for example, my birth date, I guess, right, is March 8th, 1967. So, for example, there's no 4, there's no 5, right, that kind of thing. So, those are the numbers that I would want to focus a little bit more on, bring in those qualities or virtues and focus
Yeah.
a little bit more because they're not already in my chart, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah. So 5 is awaken in galactic numerology, and 4 is overflow. And overflow is really being in that state of being fulfilled
Hmm.
until
Hmm.
until it spills over and out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, totally. And so I
Yeah.
know people are, typing in
Yeah.
questions in the chat, putting in their
Okay.
numbers and birth dates and all that kind of stuff. So we're not going to go specifically into anybody's numbers today because we don't have that much time. But that was just an example. So where could they find out? So for example, for myself, the 5 and the 4, where can I find that information out to see what my missing numbers are? Or even just where can I find out the qualities of the 9 main numbers? Is there? I should have asked you that before we did this call because then it's like, oh, that would have been a great PDF to give to everybody, but I didn't think of it. I just thought of
Yeah,
it
well,
now.
actually, like, so for example, there's like, I have a deck of the 44 cards, 0 to 44, 0 being the wholeness card. So it's that amplifier code and the foundational code of all the numbers. And no, right now I don't have that out there. It's like people who are in the program. And because it is a deck, that's kind of on my list to create the book and everything. So I don't have that
Mm,
yet.
okay, got it.
I don't have that yet,
But
but But
But it's
we're
coming.
working on it. Yeah, it's coming. We're working on it, and even working on a calculator, like a date calculator that's going to be up on
Hmm.
my website, where somebody could say, okay, this is what my life path number is. This is what it means in galactic numerology. And then again, it's like there's a specific energy to the number. And then if you want, and you can activate that, you can go through and get it activated, or you can just find out more. It's however
Hmm.
you want to do it. They're all direction. It's a compass, it's a guide, but it's also energies. It's
So
like,
what do you mean? Sorry, what do you mean by getting the numbers activated?
well, that's what I do in the Galactic Numerology program. So people come in, and there are activations that are audio activations that contain light language. And those are the things that unlock whatever that frequency is that
Got
that
it.
wants to come back into wholeness. So it like turns it back on. It was
Yeah,
dormant, it turns it back on. So it's one of those, we were talking about tools, and it's one of those, it's a frequency and vibrational tool that activates something within your energetic blueprint so that you're raising your frequency.
got it. Okay, perfect. So we will do
Sure.
some calculations in a second, but I want to just quickly talk about the special offer, if that's okay first, the
Sure.
package, and then
Yep.
we'll talk about that. So I'm just going to share my screen really quickly. Um, okay, you should be able to see my screen. So basically, it's really simple. Denise is offering a galactic numerology love activation session. So can you tell us a little bit about how that works and who would benefit the most from that?
Yes, yes. I really encourage you to take advantage of this if relationships is what you're working on, so you're stepping into like a higher vibrational state of your relationships. So, for example, who might want to take advantage of this? So, what if you're wanting your next relationship to be much like in much more freedom? You want more support, you want more passion, peace. So all of that. Or if like love, you don't want to be chasing love, you don't want to just settle. You want it to rise and receive and expand within you. So in this session, what we're going to do is we're going to look at a particular pattern or belief or behavior that's been holding you back in your relationships. And then I'll be channeling, we'll tap into your higher self and guides and your particular numbers to get to the root of why this particular thing keeps showing up. And so then we're going to take your galactic number that's called the heart's desire number. That's the one first one I brought in, that is also called your soul urge. And this has a frequency encoded in your birth name of those vowels and is very feminine energy and reveals how you're meant to give and receive and evolve through love. And then what we're going to do is take that energy and utilize a very specific stream of energies called a love activation transmission. So this is all channeled, and it's coming through to help you release and transform these old patterns into their next evolution so you can be free from them and be operating from a higher frequency that's in line with your soul path and purpose for your relationship or for a relationship that you want to bring in. So it opens you to receive the love that is seeking you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And so
Yeah.
the Galactic Numerology Love Activation session is 111. I love the number. And there's a payment plan available, of course. And if you're an Inner Circle member, please also use your gift code. There's some wonderful testimonials from people who have worked with Denise as well. So please check those out, and a fuller bio as well. So again, thank you so much, Denise. It looks like something I may want to take advantage of, just because I'm at that point in my life where perhaps I'm almost open to somebody new. So my sister asked me this weekend. She said, "So is there anybody in the pipeline?" And I'm like, "No." It's like, "There's no pipeline." the pipeline's rusted.
I love it. Well, I will tell you, I just love working. Like, I just love what comes through. Like, I'm amazed because am a I'm a pure channel of the divine. And so what wants to come through from yourself, your higher guides, what's coming through me, and because I've got my whole team working with me, and the galactic numerology is a council of light. So these are high frequency energies. So there's going to be something's going to be revealed. There's going to be something that you're going to know. Maybe you even like what's going on? Why is this happening? And your higher self is going to say, this is why this is coming through for you. And here's how you can shift that, because and there's no shame in it. It's okay. It's part of your evolution. And it's amazing. You come into the session and you leave a whole different being because you've raised your frequency. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And so one other quick question about the heart's desire number. It's from our name. Is it our birth name, our legal name? What name?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So when we have we're gonna use your first name. We're gonna use everyone's first name. In traditional in that comes from Galactic Numerology. They said use the first name because that's the name that we are called. That's what our beloved calls us. Our beloved doesn't say Shefali, whatever your middle name is, Burns, but is going to call you Shefali, or whatever name you want to use, whatever name
Right.
resonates with you. That's the name that we're going to utilize for the number. And we'll have a worksheet when you register where you put in your birth date and your full birth name and all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And so then you would just use the vowels in the name. So for me, it's E, A, and I. So then I always have these types of questions. So then do you do anything with the missing vowels in this case too, or no?
No,
No.
not in this case. Although, if that would be something that you'd bring into your attention, or in your intention, then they're going to weave that in. If that's something that
Okay.
really is, but for the calculation of the number, because we're going to come up with the galactic number based on the vowels in your first name, and
Right.
reveal that number to you. And that's going to be the energy that's coming through with the streams of whatever else wants to come through to help you release whatever's coming up, and then to nourish your system with this number, with this energy. And if that's your intention, like, then there may be also a part of that that just wants to be released, and that will all come through. Yeah.
Okay, so as a fun exercise, I think it would be fun just to calculate our heart's desire number and just, and just generally you can tell us a little bit maybe of what that is. So like for me it's E, A, and I in my first name. So what would the heart's desire number be for that? How would you calculate that?
I am not prepared for that.
Okay, no
Sorry,
worries.
I don't have my little chart. I wish I had my little chart of numbers. So here, let me just tell you. So how we come up with that is, the numbers are the letters A, B, C, D. Like
Yeah.
they come with the energy of 1, 2, 3. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. So starting with J is a 10. So
Mm-hmm.
So A is going to be a 1, J is going to be a 1. Uh,
Right.
K is going to be a 2. So what we do is we run the letters and the numbers. Yeah.
Yeah,
So and I don't have, I can,
that's okay. But
yeah,
but I think most people can kind of start to figure that
yeah,
out, right?
yeah,
Um, And so, I mean, we all know that, right? So nine numbers and then start again at 1 to 9 and keep going. So,
yeah.
but like I only have three numbers in my chart, right? So it would be a 1 and a 9 and then I don't know what I can't count that far. Um,
Did you figure it out
and
already?
yeah, so a 1 and a 9 and a 5. So then you add those three together.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so one,
So
so
10 and 5,
15.
so 15, so 6.
So 6. I
Yes.
figured.
So 6 is
Oh,
expansion. So
okay.
the
Okay.
energies of expansion are going to come through. Yeah.
And that's exactly what has happened in all of my relationships. They were all catalysts for my awakening and expansion, for
Beautiful.
sure. No, no question.
Yes. So then bringing that in, as you're bringing that in, then with this activation, and this is how the galactic numbers work, then that's bringing that back into wholeness so that it doesn't have to be learning from a place of duality anymore. It's experiencing it from a place of wholeness. It's experience expansion in your life from wholeness. So and that's why also I encourage, like, the cosmic soul path mastery is another one, because that's the life path number as well. And that carries a lot of let's just say energetic weight, because it's all those numbers that are in your birth date, and it's that purpose of why you're here as well. So,
Mhm.
but they're all important. It's whatever calls to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, I love it. And it's like that was spot on. Because my heart's desire number is 6. It's all about expansion, and it's exactly how it's been. But perhaps it doesn't have to be so difficult, traumatic.
Yes, because
Perhaps.
ultimately you're living from that inner truth of expansion, and then love becomes an extension of your wholeness, not a bandage for your wounds. You don't need to prove or perform or pretend, and instead it's the energy of magnetism, and it's irresistible, it's divine. So numerology really gives you that permission. You don't need it, but it gives you permission to love yourself exactly how you are, because it confirms what you already know, and that you're already enough. So it helps ground
Mm.
in who you are. And then it dissolves those old patterns of seeking, like in the wrong places, because seeking is important on our evolutionary path, but not from those duality places. And then it helps you trust your energy, honor your heart, and most of all, it aligns you with that kind of love that, yes, it's romantic, but it's more about being soul nourishing, because it's in alignment
Mhm.
with your soul. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. So we have Asha and Suzanne with her hands raised. So we can only take general questions, right? So nothing too specific. So Asha, you want to unmute quickly? Which is there.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Suzanne first. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah,
Suzanne.
thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we
Yeah.
can.
Okay. Thank you. I have a question about the names. When you say one has to give you the name, like I'm born with, or I was named Susanne, but the most people call me Susie. And so, and some people call me Susanne. So I sometimes really wonder, what is my first name? You know, am I a Susanne? Am I a Susie? So would you then count both sides, or how is one giving you the name then?
Yeah, so let me ask you this. So what we would ask is, what resonates more with you? Like, what feels like really feels like it's your name? Which one?
And the thing is, I feel I have both. I'm both. That's what I feel.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm both.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm more Susie, and sometimes I'm Susanne, which is a little more strict. Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
have both.
let's ask this from the standpoint of like a partnership, a romantic partnership. What would you want your beloved to call you?
I think Susie, I would like more.
Okay, so
Mm,
for this, we would use Susie for that.
okay, thank
But
you.
but
Okay.
but we could use Susanna, we could use that
Hmm.
in another way, because if that is what you use in, like, in your let's see, in
In
in your
my
life,
official
yeah,
site,
yeah,
kind
whether
of.
it's in your work, like your workplace, like if that's what the most people call you, then we could look at
Mm.
that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Thanks for
Awesome.
that.
Thank
That's a
you.
great question. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Susanna.
Thank you.
Susanna. It's not Thank you. All right, Asha, you want to unmute?
Yep. Shefali, can you hear me?
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
Go ahead.
perfect. Absolutely. So I initially had wrote down, I love what you both were chatting about in terms of finding that or magnetizing actually, right, that aligned soul life partner. And then you were talking about the calculating the number. So my question is, I know you're not able to calculate the number for us today, but how does the number kind of like tell us or guide us in magnetizing that aligned soul life partner?
Yeah, so what it does is it gives you the energy. It's telling you specifically about how your soul wants to be aligned with you. So it's giving you like a peek into what is the energy that wants to align with you so you can have that relationship. And then because you may be at odds with it, you may have a particular pattern in a relationship. Does that answer your question? It feels like there might be something else.
It yeah, there's multiple, I guess, questions off of that. So once you know your number, then it helps you understand your patterns so you can choose or align better with it. Is that where it goes?
Yes, it's or an energy And here's the thing that I'm so glad you asked that because now I can see where this is going. Because so so we have everything. I'm going to go back to what I said in the beginning, what came through in the beginning. Everything we need is already within us. And our soul is giving us all kinds of nudges and wants, the desires, all these desires that we want. And then when we look at our numerology and in particular numbers, then that gives us like it brings a synchronicity in. It's like, oh yeah, right. That makes sense now. And so it really helps us to keep moving on our path and understand why we've been having a certain pattern, why we've been feeling a certain way, why we want to feel a certain way. So it's really about that. So it's really connecting what our soul wants us to experience from the higher frequencies of joy and happiness and love and all of that. So that the numbers are like, oh yeah, it's like a revelation, it's an awakening as well. Hope that helps,
And
Asha.
It
Yeah.
does. Thinking so just to summarize what you're saying, I think it just clicked. Once you have that realization based on the patterns, right, of what you've experienced with relationships, then that brings that acceptance. Okay, now I realize what's been happening. Now I accept. And within that energy of acceptance and knowing, is that when the magic happens, when you're able to really embrace and align with that partner? I guess the ultimate goal is how do we align and what does it take for us to get there?
Yes, exactly. So once you know, and then then you are in alignment. Once you know, then you're in alignment. And then if something's out of alignment, then you feel like it's not flowing. There's something off. But when so in other words, I guess it's using our feeling body. It's like the feeling body is going to be like, something's not right here. I'm in fear. I'm maybe I'm hiding myself who I really am. This is what my clients, this is what we work on. It's like these different things that are happening and not feeling right, these different kind of lower energies that are coming in, and they're not lower energies, but they are in duality and they're holding us back. And then when you have the ahas, when you reconnect to the wholeness, the divineness of who you are, then everything starts flowing and it opens up and you just realize that oh my gosh, I'm supposed to, I feel joyful now. I'm supposed to feel. And then as you're in that space, that's what you're attracting to you, because we're attracting all the time. And if we're attracting the same relationship that's not resonant for us, it's because what's going out. It's what's the energy that we are experiencing within us. So it all ties back into really we're working on ourselves. We're here to work on ourselves, and then everything in our world, and we just happen to be talking about relationships today. Everything in our world reflects who we are, where we're at. And so and that's why galactic numerology came in. I know I already talked about this, but it's like it's raising our vibrational frequency. So there's different things, there's different modalities. There's so many different modalities that we can utilize. And this is one modality that is really high vibrational, that helps raise your frequency for whatever the quality of the number is, to bring it back into wholeness. And then that's what's reflecting in your outer life. And then that's what you magnetize in. That's what it's the law of attraction. Yeah.
And I was going to ask you really quick. So for Asha, for example, she has an A and an A, so it's 1 and 1. So would that be 11 or 2? Because,
Two.
okay, 2. Because I was, sometimes people have master numbers, right? 11, 22, 33, blah, blah, blah. Right. So I was just curious about that. It'd be 2. Okay.
Shefali, and my birthday is the master number, so it's 22. So
Yeah. So just so you know, like in the heart's desire number, it only goes up to 11. Like you only calculate up to 11. So there are in some ways that they do but the life path number, that's something different. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Asha, for that. And and it's like it is about being in alignment. Once you have that realization or the insight, the aha, you will automatically become into alignment, unless you go into resistance. Like, no, I don't want it to be that way. I want it to be something else, right? So when you're in acceptance, we are oh my goodness, cannot talk. Are automatically in alignment. And so what else was I going to ask about this?
Well, what I was going to say, like,
Go
if
ahead.
I could say, just based on what you just said also, is that, again, these raising our frequency, doing different things that we can do to raise our frequency. And that could be walking in nature. It could be doing an activation. It could be always we want to go within. That's how we align with our truth. And then all of a sudden numbers show up and they're kind of sparking that, and it's like, oh yeah, right, that's what it's telling me. And so, but as we raise our frequency, then it's just smoother. The path is smoother. So we're not just constantly bumping up. Yeah.
Yeah. So one last quick question. So 1 + 9 = 10 or 1? I'm always curious because, like, do you round that up to a 1 or do you keep it as a 10? 1 + 9.
So it just depends on the calculation. So for a life path, it's going to be a 1.
Okay. And for heart's desire?
For heart's desire, I'm pretty sure it goes up to 11. So it's going to be a 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so
Awesome.
there's different ways. And again, with all of this, it's like there's no rules. And I always say that there's like no rules, like, because traditional numerology has done it this way for or this is the way. There sometimes it's not what's meant for us. There may be something a little bit different, and that comes up all the time in the names. Like somebody's like, do I use my full name, or I was adopted, and what about, and like all that stuff. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So today we were talking about the heart's desire, or basically galactic numerology for attracting our love relationship, our soul aligned love relationship, right? So any last words of wisdom you have around that, Denise?
Yeah, well,
Any guidance coming through around that?
yeah, I will tell you, I'm just so grateful to be here and for sharing all the space. And I love these questions that have come up because it really touches on so many different things. And if you didn't have the chance to ask a question, then hopefully there was something in that came through for you. And really just to remember that you are already whole, you're already divine, and you're really already attracting every moment with the vibration that you hold. So choosing to align with the truth of who you are, choosing the love that aligns with your soul is all about vibrational frequency, being in those higher vibes. So thank you everyone for being here. And thank you, Shefali, for having me. It's been beautiful. I just feel the energy of everyone tuning in now and later. It's just beautiful because this is like, we're attracted to numbers. That's why we're here, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So we will definitely have to have you come on again because there's just so much more that we can discuss and so much more information and wisdom is available for us to learn about, right? So we will definitely have to have you come back again. And everyone, please do, if you would like to work with Denise and have that Galactic Numerology Love Activation session, please do check out the package. And there is a payment plan available, of course. And if you're an Inner Circle member, please use that gift code as well. And so, yeah, no, this was amazing, Denise. I love learning about this kind of stuff. I love more tools and things like that can help us and give us some insight, give us some awareness, give us, just give us more information so that we can have these ahas and change some of those beliefs and limiting patterns that we've been holding on to just because, we didn't know any different, right? So thank you, everybody. Thank you for being and playing with us. And I know we didn't have time to really take any questions and do any calculations, but next time we will, right? So thank you so much, everyone. Have a great weekend. This is Thursday, right? So there's no calls this weekend. So we will see you next week. And again, thank you so much, Denise. I loved it, but we definitely, I have to have you come back so we can do more. Okay.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
We'll have the
everyone.
recordings out in a little while, so go back and watch and listen, get that information again, do the calculations again for yourself, and just, feel into what it means to be in a soul-aligned relationship. That's where we're going. That's the evolution of consciousness that we're in now. Right. So thank you so much, everyone. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all so much love and blessings. Bye for now.